We're so happy to have you on with us today because, well, we always this is an exciting time in sports, but we also like to look back on the greats, and you're in front of all of them, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the thing that really made this process of telling this story so great is, yeah, we got to talk to a couple of goats, in, three of them, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, but also getting to really talk to 60 or so players, coaches, executives, rivals, fans, haters, and tell a really comprehensive, unvarnished version of the New England Patriots story.
Yeah, and those goats themselves, just spending that time with them, what did you learn from each of them? Because that may not have made it on camera.
Well, I mean, if anything that was worth knowing is on camera, I can assure you. So I think
Yeah.
the thing that I really took away is that, you know, these guys all sort of started as underdogs. The team was an underdog, right? That people have forgotten the fact that the Patriots weren't really the best team in the NFL for a very long
Mhm.
time. Tom Brady was everybody knows is like one of the last picks in the draft. Bill Belichick, according to some of the people we talked to, has sort of an underwhelming stint in Cleveland as a head coach beforehand. Robert Kraft had leveraged everything to even be able to buy the team, right? So these were guys that were, not the GOATs at the time when the story started. And they talk about how they came together with all the other people we interviewed, and they created this incredibly selfless environment where there was a singular goal, and they put aside the messiness of being human and the messiness that comes in sometimes with human relationships, and they accomplished that goal and kept that stuff at bay for such an incredibly long time. But eventually, there's sort of this nothing lasts forever aspect of this, and that messiness starts to creep its way in.
hmm Did you happen to notice anything about the three of those guys that just by being around them, just by the way they operate or the way they talk to people, the way they handle their day, that you kind of picked up on that was interesting?
I think it applies to the three of them, but I think it
Mhm.
applies to every single person we interviewed that was on that team. There was incredible work ethic, incredible drive that I don't think you really see in a lot of people. And it was constant. It was year round. You see, Tom doing everything he can to be able to play for another year, to be able to, even after he'd accomplished, and this applies to all of them, right? Even after they've won five Super Bowls, it was, you know, they would always talk about things like, well, the what's your favorite Super Bowl ring? Well, it's the next one, right? And that constant mentality of never, never accomplishing everything they wanted and always focusing on the next thing is the common trait through the three guys, but also all the players and coaches and everybody we talked to.
hmm And then, of course, were you a big Patriots fan before this,
No,
or even more so now?
no, I was not a Patriots fan growing up, and I think that allowed me to really listen to these people and not have some preconceived notion of, well, this is what the story is going to be. It was, well, now I have this opportunity to take these people, many of whom who had never gone on the record before, and definitely none who had talked at length like this before, and to say, I'm gonna listen to what it was like to be inside that building, not to sort of take the academic 30,000 foot view from the outside looking in and say, what was it like to be in those rooms when those crucial decisions were being made that led to incredible successes, but also the battles that happened inside those rooms that led to the dynasty falling apart.
Yeah, well, because of course we're in Dallas, so our Cowboys are we got enough trouble right now. So who is your team?
Oh, I grew up in DC, but my family is from Green Bay. My dad grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I'm a Green Bay Packer fan.
There you go. Okay. So, and your life and career has been very, very interesting as well. So, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's looking at what you're doing and thinking, that's what I want to do?
I think that's a great question. My advice would be to honestly is to find people that you like working with, right? And so what I did when I left school was I moved to New York. I got an internship working with Nanette Bernstein, who's a documentary filmmaker, and she was
Yeah.
making a show called Film School, and it was about NYU students making their thesis films. And I really loved the people that were in that office, and it felt small enough where if you worked incredibly hard and sort of stayed in your lane and did your job, then good things were going to happen to you. And I think, I started out as an intern, then became an AE, and by the end of the set series, I was a 23-year-old fresh out of college, and I was editing episodes towards the end. And I think, that's the advice I give is just, find a good place to go and, work your butt off.
Yeah. Well, my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our Dallas Cowboys greats, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. And he wanted me to make sure that I asked you, despite this not being about the Cowboys, your Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
That was this project, really. I mean,
Yeah.
this is an enormous undertaking, and the reason I think I'm sure Drew would tell you this, but I think all of the players that I talked to would tell you this is that when you were trying to take on something of this scale, whether it's making a documentary about these people or in their cases, trying to win a Super Bowl ring, it's really all about the people you bring along to work with you, right? And people that have success do it because they're paired with other really, really talented people. So, it was the folks at Apple TV, it was Imagine Entertainment, but then also um, I got to work with my longtime collaborator, Daniel Kohler, who is the lead editor on this project, Dallas Rexer, who's the producer who I worked with for so long. But then the other thing is, this is such an enormous undertaking, right? We had 35,000 of hours of archive to go through. So it was bringing in all of these people who I'd never had a chance to work for and just saying, you're incredibly talented. I trust you. Go, cook basically and do your thing. And
Mhm.
we all worked on this thing for 2.5 years, and whatever success we have from this is because of that collaboration.
Yeah. Well, and you've been around some, successful people, of course, Tiger and Elon Musk, those kind of people. And you probably pick up little bits and pieces from everybody, right?
Yeah, I think that they all are incredibly hardworking. They're fearless. Um, but it's interesting. You're talking about all these sort of godlike figures, right?
Yeah.
And in different fields. The thing that is so great about working in documentary films is that, some of the time you're taking these very small stories, right? I worked on a film called Gideon's Army, which is about public defenders
Hmm.
in the Deep South. And in a story like that, you're taking these public defenders that nobody's really heard of before, and you're making what they're going through into a larger than life story, right? And you're making them larger than life by doing it. When you're making something about the New England Patriots or about Tiger or about, Elon even, you're taking these people that have been built up into godlike figures and you're showing the world why they're just human beings like everybody else. And I think that that's what makes this story so special is that, yes, it's about football, but I think it'll appeal to everybody who watches it, whether they love football, whether they love the Patriots, hate the Patriots, they could care less about any of it. It's a deeply human story and it's about human relationships. And to me, that's always what makes for the best story.
Yeah, I love that. Well, last thing, after seeing this, I can't wait to see what you got next for us. What's next on the list?
This has been 2.5 years of
Yeah,
nonstop.
a vacation, I hope.
I'm taking a break. I'm going to spend some time with family
Good,
and then figure out the next
good.
one after that.
Oh, that's so great. Well, congratulations on this one. I know it's a massive undertaking, but did fantastic with it. I know everybody's going to love it. We're going to tell everyone to check it out, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on. All
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
right, thanks.